Hello everybody, welcome to the Sea of Thieves. In this episode, we'll be discussing the vastness of the Merchant Alliance. The merchants are what many of you would expect, as they deal with goods and cargo. With the merchants, they expect efficiency and time management of their employees, which is why we have watches, to track our time management with merchant quests. Merchant quests consist of merchant contracts, cargo runs, and lost shipment voyages. Founders merchant contracts are immediately available to all players, while its executive variant is available at level 10 in the Merchant Alliance. Instead of captain's variants being the more valuable quests, as the other trading companies called them, the merchants have executive quests as their more valuable variants, since it fits more with the merchant's theme. The founders cargo runs are available at level 5, Ashen Founders Cargo at level 10, Executive Cargo at 15, and Ashen Executive Cargo at 25. The Lost Shipment Voyages are unlocked at level 15, while its Ashen variant is unlocked at 20. Both Medley variants are available at level 30. And once again, the raid voyages work just the same as the other trading companies, with new events available every 5 levels, from 15 to 45. But let's discuss how each quest works. The shipping contract quests give you a list of animals for you to retrieve from the Sea of Thieves. The list will tell you what island you will find these animals, and where the crates you'll need will be. Once you've made it to the island and find your crates, you'll have a selection of 3 types of animals you'll need to capture, depending on the quest. You have the chicken, the easiest animal to deal with, since it has no requirements, which can be captured with the chicken coop. Then there's the pig. This little guy requires you to feed them occasionally, once every 5 to 10 minutes. You'll hear a loud squealing noise when it is in need of food. It will also be sitting. If you don't feed it in time, it will die. Any fruit can be offered to the pig to feed it. Since the different foods have no difference, I would recommend only offering them bananas. Additionally, the pig requires a pig crate to catch it. Finally, we have the snake. This feisty beast will spit acidic venom on you, dealing a poison damage of sorts, while also obscuring your vision. The only way to counteract this is to play music. Playing music will send them into a dance, where they will make calm, rattling noises. But once roughly 10 to 15 seconds pass, the snake will return to hissing as it primes itself to spit at you. So either have a crewmate play music while escorting you back to the ship, or keep dropping the snake and playing music whenever its calm state ends. And of course, the snake requires a snake basket to capture it. Bonus fact for animals, snakes can kill the other creatures if they are caught in the crossfire of the snake spitting at you. So I recommend keeping the snakes separate from the other animals. Also, all of the animals can die. They have a singular hit point, so even the slightest damage from any incoming enemy can kill your cargo. So make sure to keep them safe, or you'll have to find replacements. And remember to be swift, for you are on a time limit. The merchant's list you received shows the deadline for delivering the cargo, so keep an eye on that watch of yours, since it can tell you the day of the month in-game. But once you've caught all of your cargo, you'll have to take them to the outpost written on the merchant's list that was provided, and then you can cash them in for a pretty penny. Next we have the cargo runs. Cargo runs are another timed quest, giving you a couple of in-game days to complete your quest. Once voted on, the quest will give you a list of cargo to retrieve from a certain NPC. These NPCs can be found on outposts, sea posts, and islands. The cargo you retrieve from these NPCs could be any of 3 types. Plants, which require watering, or they will lose value if left dry for too long. Cloth, which needs to be kept from any water or they'll mold. And rum bottles, which are to be kept safe since any damage can cause them to shatter, losing their value. Even jumping can cause damage to bottles, so be as cautious as possible. The cargo doesn't lose value immediately. Only after enough abuse or neglect do they start losing value. But it can be quick, so stay on your toes. Now that you know how to handle each of the cargo, you'll have to read any one of the notes on the cargo themselves, and it will tell you what island and NPC to turn them into. These cargo runs are short yet profitable quests, perfect for anyone who doesn't have a lot of time to spend on the seas. Then there are the Lost Shipment Voyages. These voyages are very similar in nature to the Gold Hoarder Vault quests, since they take longer and have a great deal of loot at the end of it. But instead of a wayfinder compass, you'll only receive a parchment detailing the intended route of the merchant ship that went missing. You'll also notice that there is no time limit for this voyage, so no need to stress. Take your time. To start, you'll have to begin sailing at the origin of the route, which is stated on the parchment, and follow the route until you find a bunch of birds near the start. You'll be looking for a bunch of about 20 circling birds or so. Below them you'll find debris in some barrels. Most of the barrels are the normal looking barrels you can find floating out in the seas, but one of the barrels you may notice is yellow and blue, the colors of the Merchant Alliance, which is where you'll find your first clue. This clue will show up in your quest wheel, and will guide you to the next clue of the quest. These clues can lead you to coordinates on the world map, such as E4 or B7, and there you'll find more birds floating above debris, along with a clue in a bottle. Know that for all of the clues after the first one, we'll have a smaller amount of birds above them, about 8 or so. Along with each of these clues that you find, you may find additional merchant crates. Clues can also lead you to a specific island, where you'll find a clue bottle and potentially some loot on a beach. Clues may also lead you to a specific NPC on an island that you will have to talk to in order to get information for the next clue. Throughout all of this, with every destination the clues bring you, make sure to look for a captain's key, as this is essential for finding the bulk of the loot at the end of the voyage. When seen from a small distance, the key has a blue shine like the merchant clue bottles. So when you find this key, make sure not to lose it. Eventually you'll find a clue that will say something along the lines of, "We are now headed straight to our destination," which is written on the route parchment in your quest wheel. From that clue, head straight to the destination and look for any birds along the way. You'll be looking for a submerged shipwreck under the water, which for this quest will have the 8 or so birds as the other clues have. And when you find this sunken ship, you'll want to use that key you've found, and open the captain's quarters, where you'll find a stash of merchant crates, and potentially some explosives. So make sure to collect all of those crates, since this is the bulk of this quest's profits. And to finish the quest, you want to search the ship for a merchant skeleton with a merchant's manifest laying beside them. This valuable item will finish the quest when picked up, as the Gold Hoarder vaults have a chest of ancient tributes, and the Order of Souls have the Captain's Skull of the Damned. The merchants have their manifest. Well, you may think that that is all of the quests merchants have, since each trading company seems to have their 3 quest types. The merchants have yet another method of making money. Merchant Commodities is a method of supply and demand within the Sea of Thieves. At each merchant stand, you'll find a merchant manifest to the left of the NPC, stating the surplus and demand of each outpost. But to get started, you'll have to interact with the merchant representatives and make your way to the Commodities section, where you can buy all of their stock, buying low and selling high. I would recommend going around the Sea of Thieves outpost to outpost in rotation, and buying every crate and selling only what is in demand. This is the most casual way to make money in the game, but it can result badly if someone finds out that you're stacking commodity crates. This is yet another merchant activity that doesn't have a time limit. One thing about quests I haven't had time to discuss in past episodes is the diving feature. With every single quest in the game, you have an option to dive to the quest, rather than sailing to it. Diving will take you and your ship underwater in search of another server. Once you arrive in this new server, you will resurface from the water near the island of your quest. Now it is important to note that you will lose any loot on your ship if you choose to dive, though you will keep all resources and any resource crates. Also, you can only dive to the start of multi-island quests. So for the best time management, I would recommend dive to the quest, finish quest, sell loot, and dive to quest again, and repeat. Once you've developed your status with the traders that are the merchants, you'll want to claim your promotions and cosmetics. Just as we did with the previous trading companies, we will cover the company shop menu with the merchant representative. The 4 tabs being the promotions, company shop, commendations, and the emissary. The promotions tab is where you claim current and scout upcoming promotions. The company shop is the most unique with the Merchant Alliance, since there are 2 additional options when you select the Merchant's Company Shop tab. The 2 additional tabs being Resources and the Commodities tab, which is where you partake in the supply and demand business, which requires an emissary to be equipped in order to proceed. The Resources are where you can buy crates such as the Cannonball Crate, which is 50 cannonballs for 5,000 gold, the Fruit Crate, an assortment of 50 fruit for 3,500 gold, a Storage Crate, used for storing and sorting any resource, which is 5,000 gold, the Wood Crate, which comes with 50 wood for 3,500 gold, and finally we have the Bait Crate, with 150 bait for 5,000 gold. Additionally, you can also buy firework crates within this tab. Fun fact, if you are at all lost in the outpost, there is a sign that guides you to each of the trading companies and the main dock of the outpost. Oh, wow, that was a lot. But if you're still here, then I appreciate your determination. I can tell you're going to be a great pirate on the seas. There's a lot to learn for this game, and we're still only scratching the surface, for there is still more to teach about all of the trading companies in the game, since there are 6 in total, and I've only discussed the main 3. But I feel that I've covered a lot of ground with these the past few episodes, and I hope I've given you guys enough to start your journeys with confidence. But this series is far from over. Next episode we will be discussing player versus player, also known as PvP. so you can properly defend yourselves and your loot. Since PvP is a big part of the game, whether you want to seek it or not, you'll have to learn to defend yourself if you want to experience the beauty of this game. The people out there can be pretty hostile, but they can also be wonderful. Some of the best experiences in this game are meeting new friends on the seas and creating long-lasting bonds through piracy and exploration. But that is all of the time I have for today, and I really hope you're enjoying this series so far. I have longer and shorter versions of every episode in this series, so please make sure to check those out, since you never know what else you may learn. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.